Over 5 years of history of the Jews in Turkey is brought to life at Bar Ilan University's conference, The Jews of Turkey, Identity and Heritage. The perseverance of the Jewish community in Turkey over hundreds of years is definitely something worth taking a look at, says Dr. Efrat Aviv of the BESA Institute at Bar Ilan University, who helped organize this conference.
The Jewish community in Turkey and even in Ottoman Empire was very successful, and they had their golden age. But there's a problem ever since the State of Israel was established. I mean, ever since the relations between the government or their attitude towards the Jewish community is much controlled or dictated by the relations between Israeli state and the Turkish state. The Jews of Turkey come or maybe fall in between these both governments, and we can see that very clearly in what's just going on these days. It's one of the largest Jewish communities under Muslim rule, and it's a vivid community that flourishes and still has roots, strong roots in Turkey, and how all this sheds a light toward what happened in the past, how they were used to be treated, how in the Ottoman era, and how they are treated these days. You can see that it's really an interesting, intriguing topic for the Israeli society as well.
MK Shimon Ohayon of the Halikud Beitenu party explains why the Jewish community in Turkey is so crucial to the Jewish history as a whole.
We had in this area over 300,000 Jewish people. Now we have only 26,000. So of course, if you compare, the situation totally has been changed, and we are aware also of the situation because of the political situation. We do worry about what's going on, and we do believe, and we hope that our history will have some kind of influence, the contribution, the good relationship between Israel, the Jewish people and the Turkish people, and the hospitality of the Ottoman Empire maybe will come back, and we could see also a good relationship between Israel and Turkey.
Abdel Rauf Aronat, who is the Jerusalem bureau chief for the Turkish Anadolu news agency, explains that although the relationship between Turkey and Israel is still very strained on the government level, it didn't really hurt the business relationship between the two countries.
Israeli relations, and after the founding of the Israel, the Turkey was the first Muslim country who recognized Israel, and this was another important thing. But then after the flotilla is the crisis, and when the 9 people has been killed and by the forces of the Israeli in the Turkey, it was dramatically the perception of the Israel is the change it. I meant, and it is not anti-Semitic, but on the other way, the people is very upset because the Turkey and the Israeli relations during the time after the flotilla, 30% trade is the commercial volumes increased, and almost $4 billion. Even this amount of the commercials the Turkey is not available with the Syria or the Iraq. Can you imagine? Such like that is the good about commercial relations that much is big, and the relations for reconciliation becomes much important. But here's the Turkey is the waiting step for the Israel that side.
As the pages of history were visited at the conference, a clear message arose from all speakers. The current strain in the relationship between the Turks and the Jews should be taken with a grain of salt, as a new page of good relations between the two is just around the corner. For JN1, I'm Jacobsohn at Bar Ilan University.